Okay, first of all, when I don't decant all the paint all the time. I'll usually, if I'm in a hurry, I'll just take a paper cup and I'll take the paint at an angle, like pouring a beer. I'll put the paint in there like that. I want to use it really quick. Put the paint in there, and then I'll just take it and put it in my airbrush, just to show, and then I'll just spray it. That's what I do. I don't have to decant it all the time. That's how I do it in a quick way. Everybody seems to think that decanting paint is a big deal. It's dangerous. It's all these problems. It's going to explode. Leave the can sitting overnight. Let it sit like that. Most of the propellant will be on the top. Some of it will be mixed in there in the paint. But about a third of it up here will be all just propellant. Now, the tool I'm going to use that I made for this, I got it from Half-Fast Garage on YouTube. And I'm going to leave a link so you can watch the way he built his. I'm making mine, I made mine a little more compact because I wanted it a little easier to store. Here's mine. This is a saddle valve. And a saddle valve just comes with this bracket right here. Now, I welded these on. And I rosette, plug weld these in there as well. This other piece is just a 2.5 inch, the bottom part of the clamp of an exhaust clamp, and two probably quarter 20 bolts. That's all it is. Okay, remember to have the rubber piece in there. Make sure that's in there. When you tighten this and put this over here, I'm going to put it at the top. Because when I decant these cans, I don't want to take the paint out. You can take the paint out if you want. If you want to take the paint out, that's fine. You can put it on the bottom down here and turn this around the other way and squirt the paint out that way if you want to. But I don't need to, because most of the time I'll be putting the paint in one of these jars right here. You can get it from Amazon. You can get a set of 6, a set of 12, 24, whatever you want from Amazon. Now here's the can. Here's the setup for it. Make sure that when you're going to puncture it is not on the seam. See that seam? If you have a cover on here, a label, take the label off, find the seam. You do not want to puncture it at the seam. Keep it as high as possible. Tighten it up. Okay, I'm going to get this nice and tight. You don't want to crush the can. You just want it tight enough that the little rubber seal seals with the can. You want to tighten it evenly. Both sides. That should be good enough. One more little turn. Okay, and you will just tap into it with the needle. The needle will tap into it, and it'll only start flowing out of here. Okay, and I put this here just to be there in case something comes out, in case any paint comes out to catch it. Now I'm going to show you that. I'm going to put that off to the side and show you the more, controversial way of doing this. This is a can of filler primer. It doesn't spray anymore. The valve is pretty much done inside. You can shoot air inside here. You can take a tire stem, put it on top, and shoot air through it and try to refill it, try to open up that valve. But 9 out of 10 times when they're really bad like this one, it ain't gonna happen. Again, I let this one sit overnight. It settles. Here's an awl. I'm going to puncture it with the awl, okay? And when I come back out, I'm going to go very slowly. I'm going to let the air out very controlled. As long as you don't let the air out fast, this thing's not going to go all over the place. The only reason we're in the spray booth is to get any of the fumes from the propellant out, if any paint gets spilled, or I would do this outside, but I don't need to because I got the booth. So here we go. I'm going to puncture this guy, and then I'm going to let the air out slowly. Oh, that didn't work. A little too strong. I forgot that the old man still has some power behind his arms. That was 13-inch forearms. Too strong. But still, not a big deal. It didn't go all over. Oh my God, I'm dead now. The can blew up. No, it's fine. I'll do another one. I'll go get another one just for fun, just to do it again. So I can show you how to do it the right way. I went a little too far with that, because I went right through here, and then I went out the other side. Sometimes I forget that I'm a little too strong, even for an old guy. Okay, we're going to do this again. Try number 2. This is a little bit of Rust-Oleum custom wheel shop wheel paint. I'm going to take this up, open it up. This time I'm going to try and be not so much of an animal with it. See that? Let's let the air out slowly. I don't know if you can hear that. Bring it close to the camera maybe. You can feel the air coming out. That's the way I should have done it. You're controlling it. See that? There you go. And there's all the air out. You puncture it a little bit further. Turn it a little bit like that. Get a pair of needle nose. Now you can do this the other way as well. You could now put a hole in the bottom of it right here, keeping it tilted so it doesn't come out, and then draining it into the can, into the bottom. But I'm going to take everything out of it. I'm going to take the straw that's inside there. I'm going to take the ball that's inside there. So I'll just take a pair of needle nose, put it in there, and I'll open this up like a can of freaking corned beef. Okay? Okay? That's what we're going to do. Because we want the paint. And of course be careful because these ends are very sharp, extremely sharp. Then you got to toss the can away. And there you go. I keep the straw. For various other things I do with it. The paint is in there. As you can see, I'll put the paint in the jar. I'll get the ball later. Now, the thing is, when you do this, it'll be bubbling. And you can see that's a little bit of bubbles in there. That's probably because there's still a little propellant inside there. So when you put the lid back on, just put the lid on loosely. Let it sit there for, 8 hours, maybe an hour. Sometimes you get it all out. But sometimes you can just leave it overnight and come back. As long as it's got the lid on loosely, all that'll gas out. If you don't do that, and you tighten the lid and you go and shake it, this thing can explode. If you shook it, you better take this lid off very slowly. Because, take off lid slowly, as the gas tank says, is going to really come into play here. We'll put that off to the side. We'll do the next one. Now this one is going to be much easier to do because it's going to be controlled. It's going to be the same process. I'm only using this to hold it there. I'm going to puncture the can with the saddle valve needle. Needle, needle, needle. I'll be able to feel it. And once I feel that, I'll let this out slowly. Because, see, hear that? All I want is the propellant to come out. I don't want the gas, I don't want the paint to come out, because I want to take the paint and put it in the jar. The reason I'm doing it this way is to release the gas in a controlled way. And I have it in the spray booth because mostly you can see the gas. It's kind of like, it's probably propane coming out. And this is a shielded pole AC motor induction. It's not going to explode. But it wouldn't be a good idea to be smoking right now either. When this is done, I'll take it and open it up just the same way I opened that one, just like it was a corned beef can. And I'll save the paint. And the same thing will happen. I'll save the insides, the ball. You can feel the can starting to get cold from the propellant coming out. And the same thing, let the paint gas out overnight if it takes that long. And sometimes it takes an hour, sometimes a little less. All depends on the paint. This is a great way to save your paints. I'll use my spray gun. I'll use them in the airbrush. You know, I can store them. And another thing about this, once you do this and put it in this bottle, the shelf life of this paint is drastically reduced. 6 months tops once you take it out of there. Unless, of course, you add some lacquer thinner and keep it, you know, thin. But still, I would use it up in 6 months or less. Let's see what happens when it's all out. Okay, the can is empty of propellant now. Now the can is pretty cold. I'm going to take a measurement of the temperature. Can is, if you can see it, it's 35 degrees. It's almost 80 in this room right now, about 78. Anyway, now that I've got this done to this point, I can loosen the clamp. This is a very controlled and safe way to do it. The other way that I do it, you got to know what you're doing. You can't just let that air out. You let that air out, you're done. Same thing here. We put a hole here. And just make a little slit. And we open her up just like it was a can of corned beef. Like I said, I want to thank Half Fast Garage on YT for reminding me about the saddle valve. And that's where I sparked it. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. And I made my own. The only thing I did was modify mine to be a little more compact. So I could store it easier. Because I'm just going to use it on cans. These type of cans, hobby cans that I use. Because I have lots of paint, lots of time to paint. It's old, clogged. Because I keep everything in a non-heated garage, so that does happen. And again, when you pour it in here, this is flat black. Pour it in there. See the bubbles? The bubbles are leftover propellant inside of the paint. There goes the balls. Great, wonderful. I'll have to fish them out. When I use it up, I'll get them out. So that's the end of that. There you go. Same thing. See how I'll pull it up to the camera, see if you can see it bubbling. But yeah, it's bubbling. And what you want to do is leave the cap on loosely. If you're not, if you feel like it's gonna be in a flammable situation, put it outside. I have a spray booth. I can put it in the spray booth and just let it sit. Like I said, I can use these straws for my airbrushes or other little things I have, jobs to do. And we'll look at the clamp again one more time. Like I said, what I did, there's two sides to this. There's this side, and then there's another side. This is what this is. And what I did is I just flattened the one side, cut it directly in the middle, welded it over here, welded it over here, welded it under here, and welded it under here, making sure that it fit the cans, that it was the right distance for it to fit this clamp, the bottom end of the clamp of an exhaust clamp. And also can fit, these cans fit in there, okay, so you can get these cans if you want. The tester style cans fit, no problem. Same thing, you go to the top, take the label off, make sure you puncture where the seam is. If you puncture where the seam is, it's likely that the whole can will rupture. So don't do that. And there you go, it fits perfectly. You can put it up higher on something, maybe mount it on something like this little block, put it like that, put something under here, and the same thing. I just get the gas out. I don't really go for the paint all in one shot because it's just easier for me. And like I said, when you store these, make sure you put a date on them, what it came from, label it, and give it 6 months, because after 6 months, usually the paint degrades and it's no good anymore. Alright, thanks for watching, and go visit Half Fast Garage on YT, okay? And have a great day. See you later.